So, we're going to be talking about The Flash, Eclipsed. This was a comic I got on a whim because I was like, I don't have a lot of Flash books. I don't really have a lot of Flash comics in my collection. Not by, like, choice, it's just... I don't know what it is. Like, it's kind of hard to find Flash books. And, yeah. So I've just been kind of like... Yeah, and I don't know where to start because I feel like, especially the Flash comics are really, like, tightly knit together. So if you just, like, just read one random volume, you are fucked. It's not like with Superman or Batman or Wonder Woman where you could pick up a trade of something and be like, okay, I know where I'm going. This is, like, its own little... You could read this in its own story, just know a few things here and there. Here, like, most Flash books are like, okay, so... like, Barry's in the future, but his kids are here, and there's a version of that person over there, and then the Reverse Flash is, like, running through time. I'm like... Not today. Not today. So you're probably thinking, well, what is The Flash Eclipsed? The Flash Eclipsed is from Jeremy Adams, and this comic is basically this is one of the story arcs I was like, okay, this is a story arc I can get behind. It's Wally West Flash. So, yeah. No offense to Barry, but hashtag not my Flash. Wally West, all the way. B, it has the Flash teaming up with Dr. Fate. And if you know the comic, then you know what I'm going to talk about here. And it also has him meeting the Justice League Dark. It also has a 2-part story involving Heatwave. It has a storyline involving the Flash's kids. Yeah, this is like a nice little Wally West story that also involves a villain you wouldn't expect him to fight, but it does feel like a classic Flash story. So what is the story anyways? The story is that Wally... the first 3 issues deal with Wally getting a new job and working for Mr. Terrific for his Terrific Tech. He's now like an engineer for them, and in that story he encounters Heatwave, who is who's found out he has cancer, and he's just going out in a blaze of glory. Yes, I use that pun. I have no apologies for it. Then we have another story with him and Irie, his daughter, encountering a new villain called Dr. Nightmare, and having a daddy. It's a very sweet issue. It's a very especially the last few pages are like, aw, this is adorable. Like, that, it's just adorableness. But the whole time, there's this, in those 3 parts, there's this glaive hurtling through space. And also, did anyone know that Jessica Cruz is part of the Sinestro Corps now? Because I looked at it, I was like, what the fuck? What the fuck? Huh? Why is she part of the Sinestro Corps now? And I was like, and they were like, to find out why, read Green Lantern Annual. I was like, hard pass, I'm not doing that right now. I'm not gonna bother with that because it's probably gonna go back to Green Lantern at some point, but whatever. So, it turns out that the glaive is actually the essence of Eclipso. And if you know anything about your DC Comics, Eclipso's bad news. And Eclipso has landed right in the middle of the Flash's city and is already influencing people, including like several villains who come to get the glaive. And not just Flash villains, I'm talking like a whole plethora of like fun villains you always love to see. Like, let me just run through a few of them real quick. Like, let me just run through like a few of them. You have Giganta, you know, the Weather Wizard, Rainbow Raider, Gorilla Grodd, Ultra Humanite, Dr. Light, the Pied Piper, Killer Frost, King Shark, Prometheus, Major Force, Trickster. It's like a nice array of villains. You may be thinking, there's no way Wally could take on all those guys. And for all intents and purposes, yeah, I don't think he could either. But I'm kind of chalking it up to why Wally could beat so many villains, especially like someone like Major Force or Ultra Humanite and Gorilla Grodd by himself. Because, yeah, he's taken on Grodd before, but like he's always had a little help here and there. The reason why I'm kind of chalking up why Flash could beat that many villains at once is probably because they weren't they weren't in their right minds because the glaive was corrupting it. So they probably weren't. Eclipso was just kind of puppeting their bodies. And from there, Dr. Fate shows up and is like, "Flash, you gotta help me! We gotta go!" And yeah, this, for those who are wondering, sorry, that was the chair. It's always, I need to get a new chair. The thing I love about this is that, and it's kind of goofy, but Dr. Fate and Flash go on a journey to Gem World. Yeah, Gem World, not Steven Universe Homeworld. I'm talking Gem World, like Princess Amethyst and all that. So they go there, but in order to do that, they break the fourth wall and talk to the reader, to help them on their quest. So you gotta, like, hold the book up. Like, yeah, you've probably seen the issue, too, or something of that nature. It's like, you, the reader, you must help us. So we have a Deadpool moment. We also have Flash meeting Justice League Dark, and I'm always a fan, like, seeing these kind of fun team-ups of characters you wouldn't expect to hang out with. Like, the idea of Flash and Dr. Fate on an adventure together is fun, and then meeting Justice League Dark in Gem World, yeah. It's a very fun book. Like, that's the thing, is that it's not like some grim and gritty book. It's just a, let's go on a fun adventure. And meanwhile, while Wally and the rest of Justice League Dark are battling Eclipso, Irie and her brother, Jay, are meet a new girl, Maxine, who is the daughter of a superhero. I'm not going to say who, but it is one you're like, oh, right, I need to read more of that comic, because even I was like, who's her father? And they also go on a mini-adventure where they encounter Calculator, Shimmer, and Mammoth, who are kidnapping kids and selling them off as weapons to countries, because that's horrifying. But yeah, all in all, this is a fun, like, adventure comic. Like, this is not like a, this is like a comic you would see in, like this is the regular kind of story you would see in, like, the early 2000s era, or like even the 80s, where this would just be like a Brave and the Bold storyline that would happen. And that's really what it is. It feels like a fun Brave and the Bold story. And again, always got to give props to my boy Wally whenever I can. So, do I recommend The Flash Eclipsed? Yeah, if you want to read like a fun book that doesn't really have like major continuity. There are some things here and there that are like, oh, okay, Jay doesn't have powers because it hurts him for some reason, and things like that. But really, this feels like very, like, you don't have to do a lot of heavy reading for this. If you're a Wally West fan and you just want to read a fun adventure, here you go. This is your comic right here. So yeah, if you've read The Flash Eclipsed, let me know in the comments below. Other than that, hope you all enjoyed this. And yeah, other than that, I am Mr. Multiverse, and I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.